Let's get this squared away so I don't have to mess with it anymore. Hopefully. That might work out. Get my chat up. I'm going to try my chat over here on this side tonight, because I feel like when I have my chat up on my computer over here, you're getting more of a side view of me, which I'm not fond of. But I'm not looking as down because I've got a desk up here. When I put my computer over here, you're seeing me more straight on, but I'm looking down quite a bit. What are you gonna do? Okay, I'm live. Let's see if I can get my chat going. Hollywood Briar, welcome, sir. Luke Reisner, Piper said, Kirk from Florida, Paul the Piper. I'm having myself an adult beverage this evening. This is Dogfish Head's 90-minute Imperial IPA. Not as dangerous as you might expect. Well, dangerous isn't the right word, but I tried some 90-minute IPA a few years back, just when I was, 5 years ago, when I was just getting started down the IPA road. This was way too heady for me. Way too heady. But these days, 9% is kind of on the verge, which is what this is. But I tend to really like beers, IPAs especially, that are in the 7 to 8% range. Delicioso. Okay, so this evening, I think I'm going to smoke some Maltese Falcon. I may have smoked this last week. I don't recall. But it's a Virginia Oriental Latakia blend. Not too heavy. You're not going to mistake the Latakia, but it's not a super heavy Latakia blend. Yeah, my apologies about last week. Things just got super busy last week and had to cut bait, and hopefully I'll make it up to you today. Not with twice the length, but maybe twice the interest level. Let's do that. Maybe. Oh, my fan's blowing paperwork around. All right. So, I haven't, oh, I need this book right here. I haven't really been dedicating pipes these past few years to blends or even specific kinds of blends, but this particular Rattray's pipe that I have in my collection is the Fatchin 110. It's a little sitter, poker style pipe. Just screams English blends to me. So that's what I'm about to load up. Yeah, Easter was coming up fast and furious last week. Lots of other stuff happening around Gray Manor, so but we'll get to this, that, and t'other. But first, let's load up this bowl. Paul and Hollywood Briar, thank you for the thumbs ups. That does help people find me. I don't monetize my videos, but if they can't find me, they can't find the website. So those thumbs up, plural, really help. H Mark, hello, hello, hello. Yeah, I try to thumbs up every YTPC video I see, I watch, unless I just really disagree with something that's being shared. But that is so rare, y'all. I can't even think of the last time that happened. Badger Ash, sorry to hear about your unfortunate shipping incident, sir. Well, that's light with a good old diamond kitchen match. Chad in the house? There we go. Brandon, I'm glad you got that 320. I smoked a good bit of I think a bowl in this pipe the other day, maybe 25% before I figured out I didn't have a filter in it. But it did start to tell on me, so I wound up putting a 9mm charcoal filter in it. But it surprised me it took that long. Daniel, that unfinished pipe, I would not recommend finishing it. I mean, that's the beauty of the unfinished pipes, is they'll color over time if you don't finish them. And it'll be kind of like a matte look, you know, a matte finish look as they darken. But anything that you finish a pipe with will trap heat to some level or another. And that's another benefit to those unfinished pipes. Because it's a Series 3, it will have some finish flaws. It'll have some pits and whatnot, some fills. But I wouldn't worry about it. They're not dressed up to be prom dates, but they are very good pipes. I'll show one of mine. So this is a 644. You can see it's got a little fill right there that didn't color up with the rest of the pipe. Discolored little marks on the underside of the shank. Little marks here and there. The discounted ones are a bit uglier. They'll have bigger and more irregular fills. But they're still guaranteed to smoke well. I'm almost sold out of the ones I've got discounted right now. And here's hoping I'll get another batch of Series 3s in pretty soon, because it's been a few months since my last batch. I'm thinking December. Maybe it's been 4 months. And I know a lot of you guys don't mind the extra beauty marks on those discounted ones. I do have a good bit of Series 3 still in stock, I believe, just not the discounted ones. Daniel, finishing your pipe won't matter as far as burnout. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do to prevent burnout. It's fairly rare in a decent piece of briar, but if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So if you have trouble with that, just let me know. I have had a handful of Series 3s suffer a little burnout pit inside the bowl, but it's been really, really rare considering how well they've been selling. Hollywood Briar, I am unfamiliar with I guess that's Cristiano pipes. Not familiar. 6mm or 9mm filtered? Or do they have something else going? Yardism, have you used pipe mud yourself to fill a crack or a void or what have you? I've never used it, but that should be no surprise to you guys. I'm not exactly a hands-on Mr. Fix-It type guy. On the rare occasions I want something fixed on a pipe, I send it away. You have on a cob. Kirk, I'll be interested to see what you think of the Granger. I don't like it quite as much as the Sir Walter regular, but it's very similar to my mind. Guys, Brandom has a question. What blend would you recommend for trying out Burly for the first time? You guys weigh in with that one. I used to just say Carter Hall. It's a nice, solid, standard, you know, nothing fancy Burly blend, but you can't find Carter Hall at the moment. Hopefully it will return in the near future. But I would say for the first time, you don't want to try Burly Flake 1 through 5 or anything like that. Probably don't want to try Old Joe Krantz or Haunted Bookshop. I tend to, these days, in light of there being no Carter Hall, I would tend to recommend Pegasus, which I just sold out of, but I'll have more in stock soon. Epiphany, maybe Americana. All of those are Cornell and Deal blends. Daniel, I haven't had the experience that Meerschaum or Morta really smoke cooler. As a matter of fact, the only two Meerschaum pipes I have pretty thin walls, and I wouldn't say they smoke cool. Alternately, all three of my Morta pipes have very thick walls. So I can't say that they smoke any cooler than my Briars that don't, you know, because they have such thick walls. I don't notice that they're smoking hot. And in particular, the one that Jay Mouton made me is a 9mm filtered pipe, so I just don't notice if it's smoking hot. I do still, by and large, prefer briar pipes to anything else, with cobs, corn cobs being a second. But I do like a mortar pipe or a meerschaum pipe from time to time. I just haven't really gone, you know, full all in with them. I don't think I ever will. Yeah, those Norden clay pebbles work, I think they work pretty good. Not as well as a charcoal filter, but not bad. I got a bag of them right here. These Keystone pebbles, Keystone filters, for this really cheap, they're made for this really cheap line of Norden pipes called Keystone pipes that are basically made out of plastic. I don't know if you can tell there in that picture, but it's a screw-on briar bowl, kind of like a Falcon, but this is just cheap plastic with that space for you to put those Keystone pebbles in. Not really a fan of those pipes, but the Keystones are interesting as an alternative to unfiltered pipes. Yardism, you can't clean a stem with Granger. What are you talking about, son? You're probably talking about something else, I'm sure. Burly blend. What do you clean a stem with? Briarville has some products out now. He's got a stem cleaner that you can buy. I don't know if you can get it directly from him or if he's just selling them on other places, but I'm going to start carrying his cleaning supplies here pretty in the near future. I've never used the obsidian oil. I have to let somebody else weigh in on that. Airborne Action, Prince Albert's the same way as Carter Hall. It's just not available right now. Supposedly not because it's going away, just because there was the rumor that it may be going away And anytime it shows up on any retailer, it just sells out like fast. That's what I hear. All I know is I can't get any yet. It's still back ordered. No estimated dates on back orders. So I get it when I get it. Half and half is a pretty good alternative to Carter Hall, I would say. It's a little bit sweeter, I think. Because it's half Burly and half Bright Virginias. Oh yeah, the HH Burly Flake. Let me revise. I don't know why I forgot about that. If you have any interest in flakes or experience with flakes, the H.H. McBaron's Burly Flake is phenomenal. A nice medium burly, medium strength, medium room note, all that, medium across the board. But just like everything in the H.H. series, the Burly Flake's really good. The Chatham Manor I have tried, but it's been a while. Seems like it was, I found it favorably similar to Carter Hall. Daniel, that is the pipe filter thing. You guys must like hearing me talk about pipe filters, but I have a controversial, I guess, opinion on pipe filters. I find some people will say that pipe filters, specifically, let's talk about charcoal pipe filters, will mute the true taste of tobacco. But I find just the opposite. I find that if I smoke an unfiltered pipe, there are other things in that smoke that are kind of, pardon the pun, clouding my judgment of the tobacco taste. And I feel that activated charcoal filters will focus more the true taste of the tobacco because it filters out some impurities from the smoke. That's just me, and your mileage may vary, and I'm sure there are 100 other opinions out there, but that's my opinion. I really feel that charcoal filters help me to focus, hone in on what tastes are coming through the tobacco. Less in the way. Man, I just had a jump, chat jump. Yeah, magic erasers I've heard good things about. I've never used it on a stem. Stem polish. It may be several weeks before I get those Briarville products on the site, you guys, but they're coming. Hollywood Briar, you have gone down the rabbit hole, sir, with that vintage tin hunt. Made for some excellent, interesting videos. I can't say that I'm not tempted to start looking myself, but I don't think I want to crack that seal. Literally or figuratively. I think once I got my first vintage tin, knowing the collector aspect of my personality, I don't think it would be the last. "26 thumbs up. Thanks so much, you guys. Slow motion piper, that is why I talk about it. And that's why I sell them and I recommend them to particularly new and nearly new pipe smokers. If you've been smoking a pipe for 10 years, I mean, you know what works for you, I'm sure, at that point. But if you're not sure and you've never tried a charcoal filtered pipe, it was definitely a game changer for me. Now I can smoke every day. If I want, I can smoke. This is probably my fourth bowl today. I could never have done that without charcoal filters. So thank you for that positive feedback. Sounds like a lovely cigar you got there, Gabriel. Daniel, as far as packing a pipe, I wouldn't say I pack my filtered pipes any differently from unfiltered pipes, but I've learned over time to not pack as tightly as I once did. Over the years, I've packed less and less, looser and looser, I guess you could say. Less and less tight. When I started trying to smoke a pipe, I just jammed that stuff in there and it was super tight and it was like sucking milkshake through a straw and no good. Burns super hot that way, wants to go out. So yeah, I pack my pipes fairly lightly these days. I would wager to say compared to other pipe smokers. Oh, chat jump. Yardism, make it some old dark fired, son. Or some Irish flake. Why don't you just run and jump bareback on a horse at full gallop? After a month of no pipe smoke. Gabe, you don't have to do that, man. But I'm certainly not going to turn away a 10. But it must seem like tobacco archaeology. You must feel like Indiana Jones opening up some of those tins. Got 56 in the house. I hadn't been watching that number. 57. Jeff, I don't smoke the Dr. Pearl filters. I have smoked them, and they're fine, but they've got a plastic side instead of it being ceramic on both sides. Not a huge deal. You just have to make sure to put that plastic facing you instead of facing the bowl so it doesn't melt, but they're fine. I just prefer the Stanwell filters and the new Savinelli filters and the White Elephant filters. I'm looking at a spider, just kind of suspended, real tiny spider, suspended on a thread here. Maybe 5 feet in that direction. Thought it was a mosquito, but I'm like, that mosquito must be in a crazy hover pattern because it's just right there. How long did I smoke pipes before switching to filters? Unicorn Piper. Good to hear from you, man. Well, I tried to smoke a pipe off and on. Many failed attempts for like 15 years. Primarily during that time was a cigar smoker when I did smoke. I probably smoked 2 or 3 cigars a month on average, and I would try to smoke a pipe every 2-3 months. Burn my mouth out, put it in a drawer, and didn't try again for another few months. I learned some tips and tricks on how to mitigate tongue bite and smoke a pipe better, pack it better, learned about cadence and all the stuff you learn about when you start watching YTPC videos. That was around 2014. And I could smoke more and enjoy it more than I used to. And I really got to feeling like, you know, hey, I prefer this over cigars. But smoking cigars was always the easy button for me. I could just go back to a cigar and not think about it so much. Just smoke. And not worry about possibly, you know, scalding my mouth. Whatever my pH, you know, oddity is, I really have a hard time with tongue bite. For pretty much all tobacco, not just aromatics or just Virginias or whatever. It's pretty much everything. But Virginias and aromatics are the worst offenders for me, certainly. But I would say I went a couple of years before I discovered charcoal filters. So 2014 to 2016, and I'm just guessing at this point. So it's been 5 years, probably around the time I started the pipe Nook. Or just within that year, maybe within the past 4 to 5 years, I really latched on to charcoal filters in a big way. So white elephant 6mm charcoal filters helped with my Dr. Graybos and my Savinelli pipes, my corncob pipes. And then I just really fell for things like Rattray's pipes that are, you know, a lot of Rattray's pipes are 9mm, like this one. Anyway, I don't want to talk for an hour about about pipe filters. What else we got? I do have a couple of things I need to share. Andrew, I will be getting more Rattray's pipes in. Might be 2 or 3 weeks from now. I was just told this week that my distributor had switched account or inventory programs or what have you, and they lost my back ordered list. So I need to place a new order, which I was going to do, plus tack on all my back orders. Rattray's is having the same problem that Savinelli and everybody else is having right now. They're trying to get back to, you know, a normal level of standing inventory. With less people on the production floor and more demand, because we're all, for the most part, sitting at home smoking pipes and wanting to add to our, you know, collections. So this will be an interesting year of adjustment, but I think by the end of this year we should be back to normal as far as inventory goes for most companies. Oh no, Delta's not out here with me tonight, you guys. Just me. I should have brought her out here with me. I just barely got on. I think I started 3-4 minutes after when I was supposed to. Daniel, I don't know anything about Esoterica drops. I have personally opted out of that search. I think they're fine blends, and I really like the Stonehaven, but it's just not worth my time to look for them because there's so much other good tobacco out there that's readily available. Tunnel Take, I don't sell any bulk blends. I just do not have that kind of space. Do not have that kind of space to work with. Maybe in the future, but I would have to get to the point where, you know, this was my full-time gig and I could, you know, buy or lease a place as like a storehouse. By the end of this year, I'm going to have grown my inventory to where my office, which is behind locked doors, closed doors in the house, it's just wall-to-wall shelves at the moment. They're not all full yet, but I'll be at critical mass by the end of this year, I would think, to where I can't really, you know, I would have to wait to introduce new product when old product goes away. Like discontinued lines or what have you. But I don't sell any bulk tobaccos, unfortunately. Bill Join says Esoterica tobaccos are discontinued. Is that the case? I haven't seen or heard that. He may be pulling our legs, guys. Smoking Pipes blog. I'll have to look for it. Bama Guitar Dude, man. Good to hear from you, sir. Good to hear from you, sir. At what point do you consider a pipe broken in? I've never really, you know, I've never really given that a whole lot of thought. I would say as soon as any kind of lining starts to form, any kind of cake starts to form in the bowl, I would say we're getting there, but you know, who the heck knows? I couldn't tell you when a pipe is actually broken in. I've found for me personally that, you know, good smoking pipes are going to smoke well even before they're broken in, by and large. There have been some wild card pipes, but I would say anywhere from half dozen to a dozen smokes and you should be there. Or at least well on your way. Oh, chat jump again. Yeah, I don't think Galwith's going away. Yeah. Boca, you may be right. Carter Hall's the new Penzance. I don't think anybody's willing to shell out $100 for a tub of Carter Hall though, like they do Penzance for 8 ounces of Penzance, or what have you. I think most of us are just looking for alternatives to get us by until it's back readily available. You heard it. Gregory Evans got the last two Carter Hall cans that I had. But hey, somebody had to get them, you know? Ocean Piper, I was not really a fan of those Missouri Meerschaum pouch tobaccos. Um, they weren't terrible, but nothing really stood out to me. I've still got them back here behind these posters. I've got some shelves behind these posters here. I just never get the hair to smoke those. Don't get me wrong, Daniel. Esoterica is very good tobacco, and I really do like the Stonehaven. Of course, some people love the Penzance. To me, the Penzance is just another Latakia blend, and there's plenty of those on the market. It never really struck me as like, oh, this stuff is pure gold. But that might be because I'm not a big Latakia fan, he says as he puffs on his Latakia blend. I have been smoking more Latakia recently than I used to, but nowhere near as much as, I smoke Perique and dark fired blends, Burly blends and whatnot. Daniel Leslie, that's kind of a loaded question because there's all kinds of levels of quality in pipe tobacco, just like anything, just like cigars. I mean, I don't know what the latest and greatest cigar brands are, but back in my cigar days, it was a Fuente Opus X, I think. You could pay $20 for one of those, or you could, um, pay $1 and get a pack of El Productos, Dutch Masters, Swisher Sweets, the lowly Black and Milds. Ugh, I never liked those Black and Milds. But I would say run-of-the-mill tobacco or bad quality tobacco, or not even bad quality tobacco, is, you know, stuff like super value tobacco, the kind of stuff that you may still be able to find on drugstore shelves here and there. Although that's becoming more and more of a trick. It all depends on where the leaf comes from, how it's grown, how it's sourced, how it's produced. You know, how do they, what do they do to it? You know, what's the process? Is it fire cured? You know, flue cured? Barrel aged and fermented like Perique is? The tobacco industry is really interesting. You know, there are huge tobacco sales where all the manufacturers go to buy their tobacco from growers in batches, big batches. And quality of the leaf and where it comes from and how good the crop is that year, that all, you know, a lot of different factors go into value of the, you know, the raw tobacco. Butternut Bob, I am not. I may carry a new Cornell and Deal blend here and there, but I'm not. You know, I'm at about 40 or so right now, 40 to 50. Some of them are out of stock at the moment, but I just added 8, 9 new blends fairly recently, a couple of weeks back. Mostly aromatics, but I did start carrying this Professor blend that I really like. Another, I would say, a light to medium bodied English blend. I'm talking too much, I can't keep this lit. I'm so behind in chat, you guys. My apologies. Jeff, I couldn't say about Washington State or any specific states' regulations on shipping tobacco into your state. I just couldn't say, unfortunately. But if you ever want to purchase pipes or accessories from me, just send me an email. I can send you an invoice for what you want to buy, but just not tobacco, unfortunately. I think I've got too much ash on top of this for it to stay lit, so let me just get a little off the top. Guys, Cliff Higgins is absent. I'm sure you've noticed. He had some stuff to do this evening. He actually told me that ahead of time. Hollywood Briar, you think the Bengal Slices is nearly identical to Penzance. What I remember from Bengal Slices, and it's been a while, but it had kind of a anisette taste, kind of a black licorice sambuca top note that I don't get from Penzance, but I do like the Bengal Slices. I would say Bengal Slices are better than Penzance, to be honest with you guys, for my personal taste. There we go. I'm almost to the bottom of this. And we just hit, well, not quite, almost an hour. 65 in the house. Over a pipe, have a good evening, sir, if I haven't missed you already. Yeah, Unicorn Piper seconds the licorice topping. Star of the East Flake from Cornell and Deal is another good alternative to Esoterica. Quiet Nights, it definitely has its fans. Between those two, I prefer Star of the East. Howdy Donald Hughes from Houston. Ten Russians is also a very good blend, but it might be a little heavier in Latakia than the Penzance. Maybe Captain Earl's stimulus package or private stock. It might be closer to Penzance. Bill, that could have been my wife to give me a thumbs down. She probably wants me to get in there and cut the pizza right. Seems like no matter where we go around here, the pizza doesn't get cut all the way through. And it is pizza night, of course. Daniel, I love some tobaccos with cigar leaf. I haven't had one that's real heavy on cigar leaf, but Grey Ghost has cigar leaf. I love Grey Ghost from Cornell and Deal. Same thing with, not Maltese Falcon, that's what I'm smoking. Key Largo has cigar leaf and is also really good. Doing well, Kilted Piper Steve and or Miss Kathy. Swisher Sweets are better than Black and Milds. Okay, I'll agree with that. But that's like saying the quality of meat in potted meat is better than deviled ham. One cheaper cigar that I really like typically is Garcia y Vega. I've always liked their cigars, and they're, you know, medium to small filler, machine-made tobacco or cigars. They've always done me well. As far as drugstore brand cigars go, they're probably my favorites. Those and the Paradise, those dry cured Toscano style cigars. Daniel, that is humbling to hear you say, but I would not say that I'm an expert in tobacco. I don't think too many people here would, but I know a decent bit. Hollywood Briar probably could run circles around me as far as knowledge, particularly about vintage blends and stories behind blends and how they changed hands and whatnot. I just know what I like, and I learn as I go, and it's a learning process. When you stop learning, you stop living. That sounds a little more preachy than I meant it, but I really think everything in life, you should constantly be learning and improving your knowledge base and your pastimes, the things you enjoy doing. Oh, got my chat jump again. Wow, I'm way behind. Good grief. Callum, I think you pronounce it. I can't correlate pipe smoking and the effect that it's had on my vocal cords, but I have had some vocal trouble. Honestly, and I hate to even admit this though, I think it's because I used to sing quite a bit, and I always try to sing above what I'm able to. A higher range, and I used to sing in church here and there, and I always just kind of overdid it. I'm not trained in vocal, in singing. And I think that compared with, I hate to admit this again, but there was a time when I was very stressed out and my kids were driving me up the wall. And there were a couple of times where I just yelled at them so loud to just yell them down, because all three of them were just at each other's throats. I couldn't stand it anymore. I think I damaged my vocal cords, and that was about 3 years ago, and my singing voice in particular just isn't as strong as it used to be. And part of that may be just because I don't, I, again, don't have any real vocal training and try to sing. And never gave myself vocal rest after I had that problem. But no, I haven't noticed any correlative effect, whether, you know, on Saturday I didn't smoke at all. On Sunday I smoked 1 bowl, maybe 2 bowls. Today I smoked 4 bowls. I don't really notice a difference from day to day. Maybe I should experiment on that and not smoke for a week or two. See if things get better. If my voice gets stronger, but I kind of doubt it. Have a good one, DD. I'm sure I missed you. Way behind on chat. Thanks for putting up with me, you guys. Daniel, I don't think I'll ever carry Dunhill. Maybe Radice and maybe Costello, but I don't think I would ever carry Dunhill. I just think they're overpriced. And correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, but I don't think any Dunhill pipes are filtered. And I would want to carry filtered pipes as much as possible. Paul, have a good night. Kilted Piper Steve, I am still vacillating on that decision. Whether to stay with carrying tobacco or to just go to pipes and accessories. There are so many pros and cons on either side, but honestly, from a business standpoint, I think it would behoove me to only carry pipes and accessories and leave the tobacco sales to the big dogs. Individual states are making it, difficult, impossible to ship to, and others may be forthcoming with that. So it may get to the point where I can only ship to like 30 states in the union. And then I can't really ship tobacco internationally. So much internationally shipped tobacco gets held up, sent back to me, or sent back to the shipper. High tariffs charged. Turn up missing, as Badger Ash can tell you. And Cliff can tell you. I love carrying tobacco because I can carry a curated group of tobaccos just like I do with pipes. And I like being a one-stop shop for the new pipe smokers. The rest of y'all know you can get tobaccos other places, but I've had a lot of people tell me they would still buy from me what they could, pipes and tobacco wise, or pipes and accessory wise, if I stopped carrying tobacco. And then I had other people say, no, that's just not worth it. I just go somewhere else to buy. But here's the thing, if I can open up sales, there's 4 states I can't ship to right now. Florida, Utah, South Dakota, Washington, and probably more coming. I can open up sales to all of those states if I didn't sell tobacco. I could also probably get rid of my age verification step in the checkout process, which would save money and save frustration on your part. Save me money, save you frustration, and just make it a simpler checkout process overall. I could use another merchant service like Stripe or Square, which their terms of service say that you can't sell tobacco and use their merchant services. So I can only use PayPal at the moment. I can open up to international shipping if I'm just selling pipes and accessories. So going from stateside to global, that might make up for the sales that I'd be missing by only selling pipes and accessories if I had to drop tobacco. Anyway, it's still all up in the air. I go back and forth depending on the week. The state of Florida, where I live, as a retailer, has its own set of, bull crap that I have to deal with to sell tobacco. So, anyway, that's still up in the air. But I don't think I'm going to make any, rush decisions on that. Maybe towards the end of the year, I'll have a better idea what I'm going to do in the future. I'm not really a fan of the softy bits, as you can tell. I tried them for a while. They always made my stems feel just weird. Oversized, definitely. I'm just not a fan of that. So I don't mind just having tooth chatter on my pipes. Chris, I'm going to watch Dragnet with my oldest here pretty soon. It's been a long time since I've watched it. That Dragnet movie from the poster back there. Steve, you got it on the Quiet Nights. It has a very thick mouthfeel that I'm not overly fond of. It is tongue coating. Oh man, AT, the Beast was so good. I only got 110 for myself. Oh, did I finish it? I finished it. I emptied a couple of 10s this week already. I was down to the bottom of a few 10s. I only had 110 of the Beast for myself. And it was so good, and it sold out so fast. So I imagine we're going to see the Beast come back next year. and it's not going to be another 5 years like it was this last time. Yeah, it became one of my favorite smokes very quickly. I went through that 10, even smoking other stuff, I went through a 10 of the Beast in a week and a half or so. 2 weeks maybe. Mm. AT, this is a Fatchin pipe that I was smoking. I'm done with it now, but Rattray's Fatchin pipe. Fairly similar shape to the Judge, but it doesn't have that thing on the bottom, that coin. I'm going to start carrying the Judge, I do believe. I keep telling you guys, I'm going to start carrying this, I'm going to start carrying that. But I do have several plans in the works for new product throughout the rest of 2021. But that's definitely on the list. Boca, I have gone through my live stream settings so many times to try and find out why that chat jump happens. I cannot find it. I've Googled it. I've done so many searches, and now I just put up with it. And I know a couple of you guys have emailed me, hints of, check here, check there. Nothing seems to help. Oh, I'm sure I missed Badger Ash. But if not, have a good evening. We'll talk to you later. I hear you, Chad, about the singing. Hot Rod Bob made it almost in time for me to say goodbye. Night, Daniel. We're losing a little bit of ground, down to 61 in watching now. All right, Garbage Man Piper, you have 2 filtered Dunhills. Are they 6mm filter or 9mm filtered? I'd be curious to know. Whoa, there goes another chat jump. And see, now I have to cycle back up to find where I was. That's what gets me behind. Andrew, I don't know how Smoking Pipes does it. I don't know how they fill out their customs forms. I imagine you got hit with the tariff on your end when you received tobacco. Canada's not as bad as other countries, I'll say that, but I still don't think you're supposed to ship tobacco over the Canadian border retail. So many of y'all have come in at the tail end. I hate to stop, but I've gone for almost an hour and a half now. And I haven't even gotten to any points that I was going to share with you guys. I might just have to save them until next time. They're not timely, so don't worry about that. Just some interesting topics I wanted to chat about. A 9mm, interesting, for those Dunhill pipes that Garbage Man Piper has. Let's see. All right. I'm caught up on chat, you guys. Well, I'll tell you, the last chat I see is Bill joins. Looking forward to you carrying more pipes. Me too. But that's the last one I see. So if there's further beyond that at this point in time, you guys let me know. Alton Carter, I see you, man. I saw your chat earlier, but I didn't get to respond. Glad you made it, at least for the tail end of the live stream. Donald, tonight it's gonna be Papa John's. We go between Domino's, Papa John's, Little Caesars. I love the hot and readies, you guys. My family doesn't like Little Caesars as much as I do, but I just love them. Those extra most bestest pepperoni hot and readies. Ooh la la. Melosis. Welcome, Tom. Y'all don't know Tom. He's a good buddy of mine. Not in the YTPC. So you guys, I'll share a little something. What, should I? We're losing ground. Maybe I'll share with you. So my middle child just turned 13 a few weeks ago. And she asked me Thursday last week, do you have a Rubik's Cube? And I said, yeah, I think I got one. I went and dug in my nightstand in a drawer, and I had an old Rubik's Cube. I think it was my wife's, actually. I don't know what happened to the couple that I've had over the years, but she took it, started looking up YouTube videos. Friday night, she started looking up YouTube videos. Saturday morning, she brings me a fully solved Rubik's Cube. Now, yeah, it's easier these days because there's YouTube and you can look up instructions on the internet and all that, but I'm 46 years old. I've never been able to solve a Rubik's Cube in my entire life. And yes, I've tried to look up YouTube videos in the past because it's just something that's always bothered me. I haven't been able to solve a Rubik's Cube. Just don't have the patience for it or the spatial awareness that you need or whatever. But she figured it out in just a few hours and solved that Rubik's Cube. And then she did it again and again. Now she's to the point where she can solve a Rubik's Cube without looking anything up in 5 minutes or less. So I'm wondering if she's going to start going down the speed cuber route. I don't know if she'll ever, compete or anything, but she's happy with herself, and I was so proud of her. It just mystified me that she could do that. Oh, you see the Mount Doom shirt. So yeah, we got the kids Rubik's Cubes for Easter. We don't do a lot as far as presents for Easter, but threw some Rubik's Cubes in their Easter baskets. So, and I bought a couple of Rubik's Cubes for myself because I'm like, okay, now somebody in the family knows how to do it. And she taught my 17-year-old how to solve it. So between the two of them sharing with me, I'm going to learn how to solve a Rubik's Cube. Finally. You can call me Gandalf if you want, Tommy boy, but I know how long you've had your beard. Slow Motion Piper, have a good evening. Yeah, I can't even imagine the ones with more rows. The standard Rubik's Cube is 3x3. I've seen the ones that are 4x4, 5x5, 6x6. I have no idea how that's even possible. But here's my original Rubik's Cube. I didn't solve it. They come like this. And all I learned how to do as a kid was make a checkerboard from a solved cube. I can do that. I learned that as a kid. Of course, once you screw it up, I can never get it back without taking the stickers off. That's easy enough to do. And somehow there's a way to get like the center one, like all the surrounding colors one color and a bullseye in the middle. No, I just took it back to a I just took it back to a checkerboard. I'm gonna have to get somebody to show me how to solve this now. Oh, maybe that was it. There we go. So I can do that, but I've never been able to solve one. So that's on the agenda this year. All right, you guys. I think we're going to call it an evening. Much more to share, but like I said, we'll save it for next week. Different topics of note. So we'll leave it at that this evening. Glad y'all stopped in, and we'll chat with you again at least next Wednesday, if not sooner. Have a good one.